porn. That's a porno book. Oh my god. Do you know how frustrating this has been? Ew. Ick. Hi guys, it's Anya. Welcome back to my channel. We're doing swapping our phone time for reading time this week. Why is my phone telling me that I am on my settings app 25 hours a day? Now, if I start crunching the numbers, don't think that's possible. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm basing this video off of my TikTok screen time, which on average is 4 hours. Do you know how insane that is? I need to reel things back in. Now, my shifts are different every single week, so I'm kind of basing the amount of hours that I have to read off of whether or not I'm working. Like today I worked, so I'm gonna aim for last Monday's screen time, which was 2 hours and 39 minutes spent on TikTok. Tomorrow, for example, I'm not working. I'm gonna aim for Wednesday, 5 hours and 56 minutes. That's how much we're gonna read tomorrow. Like, that is insane. 6 hours on TikTok. My problem, especially with TikTok, is like, now I've been very active on TikTok. I'm kind of slaying over there, like, I'm not gonna lie. When I'm active on TikTok and like posting a lot, I'm also watching a lot of TikToks because I'm constantly looking for inspiration, and it's just not good. It's like this endless thing. You don't care. You're here for me to read. Let's do some reading right now. Also, if I seem delirious in this video, it's because I am. I woke up at 4 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning because I had to leave the house at 6 a.m. so there was no point in going back to sleep. I did make use of that time by reading, but yeah, I feel like actually like an insane person. Regardless, that brings me to today. I already did a bit of reading today on the train to work because there's been like a blizzard situation over the weekend. There's a lot of delays and stuff, so that's why I had a lot of time to read on the train as well. I already read for almost an hour, 59 minutes and 21 seconds. So that's quite a lot. I've been reading If You Tell a Lie by Lucinda Berry. I started this literally last night before bed, and I had maybe like 40 minutes to read before bed. Why am I already 50% in? I don't know how that happened. I always talk about Lucinda Berry books. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but if you are new here, I love her. She's my favorite thriller author. I always say she is to me what Frida McFadden is to Book Talk. Like, she just writes really, really suspenseful, enticing thrillers. Sometimes it can be hit or miss, you know? I think she used to work as a psychologist, correct me if I'm wrong, or something in that vein. So she kind of writes from her own experience working in the field. So it's often about like people with mental health problems in some ways, which is interesting and makes for like interesting thrillers. This one's a bit different because it's nothing like I've ever read of hers before. You know those kinds of thrillers where it's like it's set at a summer camp? I feel like there's such a genre of thriller, like subcategory of thriller, that is just like summer camp thrillers. And it's so weird because I was really in the mood for that. Think like a Riley Sager book, that kind of a vibe. About this group of girls, they went to summer camp together when they were kids. Something mysterious happened. 20 years later or something, they start getting messages kind of in the vein of like, I know what you did. So they kind of reunite to try and figure out what's going on, who's sending the messages, what should they do. I'm having a good time reading it, but I do keep forgetting that it's a Lucinda Berry book. Usually her books are a bit more like gaggy, and so far I'm having a good time, but I think I hold her books to a higher standard, which isn't entirely fair. I'm going to lock in and do some reading right now. Girl, get down here. If you can hear the heater, I'm sorry. I'm cold, guys. It's snowing. But what? Things just got a little cray-cray. We just found out who sent the letters. I don't believe a single word that's being said right now. Oh, there's a chapter where one of the characters talks about Faith and like losing her mom. And that was such a beautiful and heartbreaking chapter. Like, holy crap. Consider my heart broken. Oh, why would you do that? Why would you do that? If you know, you know. She did what to his what? See, that's the thing about a Lucinda Berry book. You'll read a sentence, you'll be like, what? Who thinks of that? Who even comes up with that? Sorry. Huh? I finished it. Okay, so I went 10 minutes over. I might still pick up a book later, but I'm gonna like get into editing. Sorry if you can hear the heater again. That was okay. It was really like enticing. It wasn't necessarily suspenseful. I don't know how to explain. The questions that were raised were not that interesting. It wasn't one of those like, I need to know what happened. I think the pacing was so good that it made up for the fact that it wasn't that unpredictable, or you know what I mean? Like, the plot wasn't that crazy, but the pacing was really good. So I think that kind of balanced it out. I'm gonna give it 3 stars though, because for a thriller I would want the story to be a bit more what's going on, you know what I mean? I can't believe we already finished our first book of the week. That's pretty good. The hardest part of the rest of the day is going to be staying away from TikTok. I think I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Today our screen time, reading time, whatever, is 5 hours and 56 minutes. So 6 hours. I don't know how I'm going to do it simply because of the fact that I have to edit. And I hate the video so much that I'm considering just like not posting it at all. Which, if that is the case, Happy New Year! Sorry for the hiatus. Guys, I've said this like 5 times. I'm going to say it one more time. If I say it wrong again, I'm just putting it in anyway. I'm really just like stuttering a lot lately. My goal for 2026 when it comes to content is quality over quantity. I slayed that. At that time. So for that reason, I'm thinking like in general when it comes to posting, I was always like, I'm posting once a week no matter what, and I was really consistent on YouTube, which is great. But there are some videos that I put out that I didn't even like myself. So now I'm not doing that anymore. I'm only posting when I like the video, because otherwise, like, what is the point? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like this is my full-time job and I have to post, and even then I wouldn't really want that to be like my MO. I don't know if that's confusing or not, and if you agree, but also it's my channel. Last time I checked, it's my channel. Yeah, I think I have to scratch that video, low-key. I think I'm going to. I think I just made that decision. Let's focus back on this video right now. I decided that the next book I'm reading is in fact Heat of the Everflame, which is huge news for me. This is I think the last book in the Kindred's Curse saga. I don't know if there's more books supposed to come out. I don't really know. Here's my little recap, okay? Because some of you were not here when I first started reading this series 1 year ago. One of the best book series I've ever read. So much fun. Let me tell you something. Growing up, I was infamous for hating fantasy books. Then when I was, God, how old was I? 20? I read ACOTAR and I was like, oh, actually, I can get behind this. I was chasing the high of ACOTAR for forever. Nothing ever came close. Mind you, this is like, when I was 20, 2 years ago. Well, almost 3 years ago. Anyway, last year I ended up picking up the Kindred's Curse saga right after I read Cruel Prince, and everyone was like, Cruel Prince is so good. If you love ACOTAR, you'll love Cruel Prince. I read Cruel Prince. It was shite. It was so bad. No shade, but I didn't like it. It really wasn't for me. I expected, what's the first one? Spark of the Everflame? Yeah, I expected Spark of the Everflame to also be similar, and in some ways it totally reminded me of the Cruel Prince, but it's like the Cruel Prince but better, kind of. Like I think it was, yeah, I'm gonna stand by that actually. I know it's controversial, and again, no shade. If you like the Cruel Prince, I'm happy for you. Like, I want you to like the books you're reading. But if you read the Cruel Prince and you didn't like it and you had higher hopes, I recommend this book series. Read those 2 books back to back. Loved them. Was so excited to read the 3rd one. Saw the page count on my Kindle, and now it's a year later. Because quite frankly, why is this book 1,000 pages long? That was way too intimidating for me, and so I had it downloaded the entire time. It was always downloaded. I was always ready to read it, but I put it off. It's been a while. For some reason, while I was reading If You Tell a Lie, I was like, I might be craving this book actually. So what I did last night is I read a in-depth summary of the 2nd book in the series. It took me 30 minutes to read the summary. Like, it's that serious, I'm afraid. I remembered everything all of a sudden while I was reading it. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how good this book series is. So I started this morning. As soon as I woke up, I am like little over an hour into today's reading goal. I forgot how good the found family is in this book series. Like, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. I have one more thing to say, if you don't mind. I also downloaded another book for us to read, potentially read. Maybe even in between, like I might be reading 2 books at the same time type of vibe. That book is Heated Rivalry. I downloaded the German version just so I could show you the cover, because the version that I have, the cover is giving porn. That's a porno book. I cannot go out like this. If I do pick this up, I have to make sure that I don't pull out my Kindle on the train tomorrow when I'm going to work at 6 a.m. and I pull out this shit. I'm excited to read it because it feels like fan fiction, and it wouldn't be the first time that I read hockey fan fiction. Don't mind if I do. But right now I'm still focusing on this, and then maybe later I will do Heated Rivalry. I have watched the show, but I haven't watched all of it. Like, I've watched a few episodes. Sorry, my arm is starting to get really itchy for some reason. Let me just, I think I need to log back in and do some more reading, which I'm totally in the mood for, as you could probably tell. Okay, I need to stop talking. This clip is 15 minutes long. Listen, I definitely look a certain way and we're gonna have to deal with it. I just got ready for bed. It's been a couple of hours. The only way for me to get through my reading time for today was to switch over to a audiobook. Okay, straight up. I'm gonna be so honest with you. Well, actually, before I did that, I ended up reading Rivalry. I got halfway through the book and I switched to audiobook, which if you're gonna pick an audiobook to listen to, do not make it Rivalry because it was very awkward. It was very awkward. I felt crazy, but I couldn't find Heat of the Everflame on YouTube and I don't have Audible. So anyway, it was good though. Like, it was really good. I'm not done with it. I just checked my Kindle and I am 75% in and I'm going to sit down and read for the rest of the night. I literally have to go to bed in an hour and a half, and guess how much time is left? An hour and a half. So if that isn't perfect, I don't know what is. And I might also watch TV in the background because I'm just a girl and I haven't had TV time at all today. Is that so wrong? Is that so wrong? That's my update. Just thinking about the concept of kiba. It's a German kind of juice flavor, cherry and banana. Why was I thinking about that? Oh, because I wanted to tell you guys that I have juice. I'm thinking ahead quite a lot. Guys, happy Wednesday. Once again, if I seem weird in this clip, I had another really early shift today. I'm tired and it's a lot later and I just feel a bit like loopy, I think. I got the wrong iron juice and it tastes like beet and banana, which made me kind of think of kiba as a concept. Kiba. We have 2 hours and 40 minutes of reading to get done, which I already got almost 40 minutes done this morning when I was on the train. So we have 2 hours and 6 minutes left. Now I'm 29% through, so we still have a lot to go. Sorry for going in circles, but back to Heated Rivalry. I rated 3 stars, I think. No, 4 stars, sorry, 4 stars. I really liked it for what it was. I don't think it's a literary masterpiece. I don't think it's the best book I've ever read. I don't think it's one of my favorite books, but I knew exactly what I was going into because I had seen the show and I expected it to be exactly that. And I liked the show. I think it's fun. The book is very spicy, which I don't like usually, and I think that's why I read it so quickly, because some parts that I didn't like I kind of skipped, which is kind of weird considering that it's like kind of marketed as really spicy hockey romance, but I kind of like those books for the hockey and the romance more than for the spice. That's just my preference, but sometimes I'm in the mood for it, so I did, like, it's not like I skipped every single spicy scene, but like, I don't know, it was a bit more than what I would like. But I didn't expect it to be anything else, you know what I mean? I am so chill with skipping scenes if I'm not in the mood to read them, which I think is kind of an unpopular opinion. Also, if I'm like reading a book, there's a paragraph I don't feel like reading, I'll skip it. Like a character description of what they look like. Sometimes I already have a picture of them in my head. I'm kind of like, eh. So I feel like that is extremely controversial, and like some people go crazy over it. They're like, what? You're not even reading the book. I'm like, if I'm skipping a paragraph or two, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. It's my little controversial opinion of the day. Let's read. I really struggled to get my ass to sit down right now. I was sat in my bed thinking all I want to do right now is watch TikToks, but I didn't do it. Hashtag proud. Just as I was talking about spice, this book just got spicy. In this book, I don't want it. In this book, I actually don't. I don't want it. Sometimes I think definitely when it comes to fantasy, I'd rather it just stayed implied, like in Divine Rivals. That was my favorite. The way they did the spice was so good because it was barely there. It was just like, and then they did it. That was it. I think I like that better. No, I don't want to read that. Sorry, but let me touch you. I'd rather you didn't. It's really a mood thing. Like, sometimes I don't mind it at all, but other times I'm like, oh, I just don't want to read about that right now. I know, I'm a bit weird. I also don't know why, because every time I voice this opinion, I feel like such a prude. It's not that I am. That's not me even. Like, I don't know, but I think that's the thing. Like, if I want to read spice, then I'll read something like Heated Rivalry, where I know what I'm getting myself into, I guess. But even then, I'm not always in the mood. I think it also has to do with how long I was reading at a time. Like, I just sat down to read. It's like the first chapter I'm reading. I'm not in the world yet. This is time and place, and you did it at my birthday dinner. Like, I want to... I need to be more in the world, I think, for me to feel like it's appropriate. Right now it just feels like it's weird timing, but I'm sure had I read it longer, maybe it wouldn't be that way. I don't know. I don't know how to explain. Ew. I think at a different time I would have been into this, but right now in this moment, ew, ick. I suspect I know who her birth father. I sounded Dutch. I know who her birth father is, but I'm not sure, and I also forget his name, so I'm not gonna tell you because I don't remember his name. And if it's wrong, I also don't want to tell you. Oh, I hated that. We did it! 2 hours 40 minutes done. I am 45% in. That's actually pretty good. I didn't think I would get that far in. Is it not 1,000 pages? Okay, so it's not 1,000 pages. Have I not been talking about the fact that this is 1,000 pages long? Where did I see that? It says it's 764 pages. Have I been gaslighting myself this whole time? But I swear to God it said 1,000 pages somewhere. I remember vividly seeing that multiple times on the Kindle store. I can't find what I actually was looking at. Like, I don't understand where I got that information from. I fully lied. It is not a 1,000 page book. There's no reason for me to think it was, but it is weird because I'm gonna sound so annoying, but sometimes I have a photographic memory. Like, I'm really good about remembering seeing numbers, and I vividly remember last year I looked at the Kindle page count for the third book in the series, and it was 700 pages, and I was like, okay, like that's long, but that's like normal, I think, for like the third book. And then recently, so I like still avoided it for a while, and then more recently I looked at it and I was like, maybe I'll just read it now, because I knew it was like 700 pages. That's a lot, but still I could commit to that. And then it said 1,000 pages. Like, I remember this vividly, and I went, 1,000 pages? What do you have to say for 1,000 pages? Shut up. And I didn't pick it up. Like, I chose a different book. And then very recently, before picking this one up again I saw the 1,000 pages. So I don't know why. Like, maybe I looked at the German version, but I looked it up and the German version isn't that much longer either. It's like 800 pages. So I don't know where I have this like whole memory from, and it's so weird because like I built it up in my head as this huge book, and it's 700 pages is not that much. And like, for some people 1,000 pages isn't even that much, and I've read books that are 1,000 pages long, but still, like, it's a commitment. To me, that's a lot. It's just a bit wild that this whole time it was 700 pages, and it's driving me insane. Like, I just wish to know where I got it from. That's all I'm saying for tonight, but I feel embarrassed now that I gave you the wrong information. I didn't read today, guys, not 1 second. I did have one day last week where I only went on TikTok for an hour and a half. I'm going to set a timer for an hour and a half. And even that is a challenge for me right now, quite frankly, because I don't feel like it. We're doing it. Just if you've read this book, the turmoil I just went through, the heartbreak, the emotion, the roller coaster, that was insane. I'm still reading. I'm 56% through. That was a lot for me, guys. That was a lot for me. Oh my God. Yesterday was almost a fail. Like, it was so close to being a fail. I was so ready to just not read. And then I was like, no, I can just lock in and at least do the one day last week where I was on my phone the least. Still a success. For today, 5 hours and 5 minutes to do. It is 11, and today is low-key the perfect day because I'm in a good mood. I feel put together. Like, I don't feel like yesterday I was kind of rotting. Don't feel in like the rotting mood, but I also like I don't have plans. I can sit here and read for even longer if I wanted to. 5 hours, 5 minutes on the timer. We're gonna do Heat of the Everflame, and to my own surprise, we only have 4 hours and 41 minutes left in this book. So I'm definitely going to finish it today, which is actually super exciting. So I really wasn't in the mood to pick up the book because it's good when I'm reading it, but I'm not like eager to pick it up. The plot last night in those 90 minutes was so good and had me really, really hooked. Like, it was suddenly like things were happening. Yeah, it got me good. I also have a matcha, which I haven't been drinking matcha that much lately, but this is really good. Vanilla, cold foam, and it's really delicious. Now it's time to read and lock in. And I'm also filming a TikTok vlog. Let's go. Chapter 50. Day mode is on. I like this. I like this. I like, sorry, this is an unpopular opinion, but I really like DM as a character, and I feel like a lot of people kind of hate her, but I think in fantasy books so many FMCs are like the same copy paste type person where they're like trying to be extremely independent and like not that hung up on their lover or whatever. It often comes across as they're trying too hard to be this like bad bitch FMC. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think with the DM it actually comes across as authentic and like genuine, and also adding in her like not being that interested in marriage and stuff like that. I think that's really well written, and I think it makes sense for DM. It doesn't always make sense for every FMC, and I don't think every FMC in a fantasy book has to be like this super hyper independent girl, but I think with DM makes a lot of sense. She's written well in my opinion, like sorry, but I really do think that. The cuntiness of that chapter. I'm on chapter 54 now. Whoa. Crazy stuff just happened, guys. Crazy stuff just happened. This is so much better now. Like the first half of the book was okay and like kind of boring. The second half is really good. Like there's stuff happening that is so good, and like I truly from the bottom of my heart understand that we needed the first half to kind of establish everything and get to where we are now, but it was like a drag. Okay, it was a lot. But this now, also yeah, I'm using my robe as a blanket because I'm just a girl. Mind you, I'm sat on a blanket. I just don't want to get up. This match is so good. I think I'm going to make it every day. Like, okay, back to reading. We have 4 hours 19 minutes to go, and in the book we have 3 hours 58 minutes. Bit awkward, but whatever. Girl, Pencole has me gagged in every other chapter at this point, because what? She's in a new realm. I'm not gonna spoil, but I'm gonna give a little bit of a setting. She's in a new realm and it's really interesting. They're telling us like how they're governing their things, whatever. Like it's just like, oh, okay, like this is fun and new, you know? And the end of that chapter, if you've read it, talk about being gagged. I mean, yeah, long term I expected it, but not like what is going on? Sorry, this makes no sense if you haven't read it. This is so tea. Wow, what a good book. I made a coffee. It tastes really good. I already tried it. I love whipped coffee so much. It just always tastes so incredible. I got a little bored, I can't lie, but I hope this will get me excited again. 80% in, 2.5 hours left. And I think 3.5 on the timer. So I have such a love-hate relationship with this book. I don't know, like it's really good and interesting, but also I don't want to read it anymore. Like I'm so tired. I'm so tired of it. I think it's just frustrating. Like some of the characters are just really frustrating to me, especially a certain character that I will not mention because it would be a spoiler. I mean, I definitely think that like there's a plot that they're kind of setting up towards the end of this book, like the last third. That's interesting. It has a lot of potential, but I fear they're not doing with it what I would want them to do. I always think like the pacing of the book is almost too slow maybe. I'm not even sure if that's what I'm criticizing about it, but the one character that's annoying the fuck out of me, just like really ruining it for everyone else right now. We have 3 hours to go and I am having a good time just like sitting and reading all day. Like that's pretty awesome, I can't lie. This is actually kind of cool. There's a character that's like non-binary, I guess. I had to think about it, but that's actually kind of cunty the way it's written. Like I was gonna explain how it's written and then I realized once again that would be a spoiler. So you know when diversity is written in a way where it's like you can tell they're just trying to hit their mark, you know? This is kind of like, this is cunty. Like I like the way it's done. I don't know if this was a spoiler. I don't think so. Girl, fucking finally 90% into the book. Be so for real. There's something, okay, how do I explain this once again? There's something that happens at the beginning of the book very early where she's able to do something and she doesn't know why she's able to do something and she doesn't think about the most obvious factor of why she's able to do it. 90% into the book, she finally gets it. Oh my god. Do you know how frustrating this has been? Do you know how many hours I spent reading this book? Anyway, I'm glad she finally got it, but girl, be so fucking for real. DM, sometimes you're a little dumb. I had to say it. 2 hours left. And I only have 27 minutes left in the book, apparently. I don't know how that happened. I'm really locked in and determined to finish. Things are serious. There's only 4% left and it kind of feels like history is repeating itself in a way because it's a similar setup. My only thing is like there's definitely going to be a fourth book just based on like the plot. Like there's no way there's not gonna be. I mean, I would hope, but like yeah, they're just setting way too much up. Like this is clearly not the last book in the series, which I could have googled that, you know what I mean, but like I'm just going based on context clues. I'm a bit scared that it'll end off like just gagging me so much, and then it'll be sad that I can't read the fourth one yet, but that's just the way it is, isn't it? Like, you win some, you lose some, but who knows? I am nervous, but I'm also excited to finish. I don't know. This has been a weird reading experience, let's just say that. I'm done. I didn't like that ending. I know it's intended to be frustrating the way it ended. So like it's doing what it's meant to do, you know what I mean? Like no one would finish this book and be like, wow, you know? After all the time I just spent reading that book, I'm like really freaking annoyed. And I expected it to end on a cliffhanger. Like I expected it to end on a cliffhanger, but it wasn't one that I was like gagged over or that was like really cool or anything. And also at the end it says that book 4 was supposed to come out spring 2024. Is it out already? Like, did I googling it now? 14th of July. I loved the book series and I liked the characters, but that book was really frustrating, but it was good. Like I think I'm gonna give it 3.75 or 4 stars, one of the two. I will make a decision. We have an hour and a half left. I'm gonna take a break to eat my dinner and then I will pick out another book. Oh, I'm so annoyed. If you read this book, let me know, but I'm so annoyed with this book, bro. I look like Mega Brain. I'm not gonna stand back a singular step, because if you see the height that this bonnet is at, you will unsubscribe. I'm about to make it worse and put these glasses on. I don't know what to read. I don't want to read anything. I shat on, what's the book called I was reading? Heat of the Everflame for maybe the last 20 minutes of the video at least. And guess what I want to read right now? Heat of the Everflame. I wish it wasn't over. I wish there was more to read, but no, there's not. And I'm really upset. Also upset that the next book in the series is not out yet. Can I even get this on? Can I show myself looking like this? Yeah, this is how we look at nighttime, guys. I'm in the mood for nothing. I have to be careful with this. I think I have to be strategic. If I pick out a book now that I don't like, I'm gonna end up in a reading slump. I can already tell, because I read 6 books in the last 2 weeks, and that's a bit much. And if I pick up something I don't like, it's just not gonna end well. I am looking at Binding 13, but it's too big. Like if I don't like it, I'm the type of person I will commit. I'll just keep reading it until I'm done, and then I'll just be in a reading slump like that. That could be bad. Kind of want to read Caraval. Is it smart to do another fantasy? I also kind of want to read Throne of Glass, but I think that's dumb. I think it might be a dumb move. I can also do Conditions of Will. How does this sound? This could be kind of the right move. I'm going to read the first page. Okay, maybe I'll read this. I think I'm going to read this actually. Where is my... I have so many what is it called? Bookmarks to choose from right now. Let me show you my little collection at the moment. I'll use anything. I'll literally use anything. Look, and I have all these pretty ones that my friend got me. This one is beautiful. I think I'm going to use this one actually. But I have also like all these pretty little postcards to use. So cute. These ones from a bookstore in Berlin. Maybe like one of my favorite bookstores I've ever been to. It was so nice. Still this one from Cover Story, which I haven't read. See, it's matching to the book, which I think is so fun. And I got this postcard in Aix-en-Provence, I think. Okay, how exciting. Let's start the timer. I'm pretty much just gonna read until I go to bed. Also, I had a really good time reading this week. Like, it was hard because I'm totally addicted to TikTok, like it's so bad, but it was also really good and fun, so I recommend doing this challenge. Anyway, let's finish our final hour and a half of this challenge. I'm so excited.